Have you ever found yourself wondering if that guy you're talking to might be into you? The truth is, men aren't always great at outright saying what they feel, but their questions can speak volumes. If a guy is asking you certain types of questions, it's a strong sign that he's interested, and not just casually. He's trying to figure out who you are and whether there's a real connection. Today, I'm breaking down 8 questions that guys ask when they're very attracted to you. Let's dive in. Number 1. Are you seeing anyone? Let's dive right in because this question, are you seeing anyone, is a classic. Now, on the surface, this might seem like a casual inquiry, but trust me, it's anything but casual. When a guy is asking you this, he's not just making polite conversation. What he's really doing is gauging the terrain. He's trying to figure out if you're available and if he has a chance to step into your world. Think about it. Guys aren't always going to ask this unless they're interested. It's a question that requires vulnerability on his part because he's risking the possibility of you saying, "Yeah, I am seeing someone." And that's a rejection right there, and nobody likes that. So if a guy is going out of his way to ask you this, take note. It's his way of putting a feeler out without being too obvious. Here's the nuance. It's not just about the question, but also how he asks it. Does he lean in a little? Is there a softness in his tone or a bit of nervous energy? These subtle signs show you that he's genuinely curious about your status. He's not just killing time. He's invested. And let's not forget the follow-up. If you say you're not seeing anyone and his face lights up, well, that's all you need to know. He's attracted to you, and this is his way of opening the door to something more. But here's the thing. Even if you are seeing someone, pay attention to how he reacts. Does he seem disappointed but tries to keep the conversation going anyways? That's a guy who's attracted but willing to play the long game. So, ladies, the next time a guy asks you if you're seeing anyone, remember this. He's not just curious. He's attracted to you and trying to figure out if there's a chance to take things to the next level. Number 2. What do you look for in a guy? Now this one is huge. When a guy asks you what you look for in a guy, it's not just small talk. He's actively trying to decode what's important to you and more importantly, see if he measures up. Now think about this as holding up a mirror and asking, do I fit this image? Guys are strategic when they are attracted to someone. Now by asking you this, he's gathering intel. He's figuring out what qualities you value and seeing if he can align himself with that. For example, if you say you're into ambition and drive, well, don't be surprised if he starts telling you about his career goals and other side hustle that he's very passionate about. And if you mention humor, well, then suddenly he's going to be cracking jokes left and right. This isn't manipulation. It's adaptation. Now, a guy who's into you wants to impress you. He's going to showcase the parts of himself that align with what you're looking for because he wants you to see him as a potential match. Now, here's where you can pay close attention. Does he genuinely seem interested in your answer, or is he quickly brushing past it? A guy who is truly attracted to you will take the time to listen. He'll ask follow-up questions like, why is that important to you? Or have you dated someone like that before? These aren't just filler questions. They're his way of diving deeper into your world and showing you that he's invested. Now, the other thing to watch for is vulnerability. Sometimes a guy might ask this question and then open up about his own insecurities. For example, he might say, do you care if a guy's not super tall? Or what if he's still figuring things out in his career? That's him showing you his cards and hoping that you'll still see value in him. Bottom line, if a guy is asking you what you look for in a partner, it's because he wants to be that partner. Don't underestimate how meaningful this question is. Number 3. What's your dream date? Let me tell you something. The question is all about intention. When a guy asks you about your dream date, he's not just making conversation, he's gathering a blueprint. Think of it this way. He's trying to figure out exactly how to make you happy. Why? Because he wants to create an experience that'll blow your mind and make you see him as someone who just gets you. Guys who are attracted to you and want to stand out, well, they know you've probably been on dates before, but they want to be the one who takes things to the next level. Now, by asking this question, he's basically saying, tell me how I can impress you. And here's the kicker. Pay attention to how he reacts to your answer. If you say something simple like, "I love a good picnic in the park," does he smile and say, "That sounds amazing"? Or does he dig deeper and ask, "Well, what kind of food would you want to bring?" A guy who's genuinely interested will latch on to the details. He'll want to know everything so that when the time comes, he can deliver. Also, watch for the subtle hints that he's taking mental notes. If he starts asking follow-up questions about your favorite foods, your ideal setting, or whether you prefer daytime or evening dates, he's already planning something in his head, and trust me, this is a great sign. But there's another layer to this. By asking about your dream date, he's also opening the door to vulnerability. He's saying, "I'm willing to try to meet your expectations," which is not an easy thing for guys to do, and it shows that he values your happiness and wants to make you feel special. So, when a guy asks you about your dream date, don't brush it off as a generic question. It's his way of saying, "Hey, I'm attracted to you, and I want to be the guy to give you the experience you've always wanted." Number 4. What's your biggest passion? Here's the thing about this question. It's not just about learning what you love. It's about connection. And when a guy asks you what your biggest passion is, he's looking for insight into who you are at your core. He's trying to see what lights you up and what drives you and what makes you unique. This question isn't surface level, it's deep. And when a guy is willing to go there, it's because he's attracted to more than just your appearance. He's attracted to your energy, your personality, and the things that make you, you. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you answer, does he respond with enthusiasm? Does he say things like, "That's cool," or "Tell me more about that"? And if he does, well, that's a green flag. It means he's genuinely interested in understanding what matters to you. He's not just asking to fill the time. He's asking because he cares. But there's another layer to this. Sometimes a guy will use this question to find common ground. For example, if your passion is photography, he might say, "I've always wanted to get into that," or "I've done a little photography myself." This isn't him trying to one-up you. It's him trying to show you that he's compatible with your interest, and he wants you to see him as someone that you could share these things that you love with. And let's not forget the vulnerability factor. When a guy asks you about his passions, he's also opening the door for you to ask about this. This creates a moment of mutual sharing that builds intimacy. It's a way of saying, "Hey, I want to know the real you, and I'm willing to let you see the real me." So, ladies, if a guy asks you what your biggest passion is, take it as a compliment. He's attracted to you on a deeper level and wants to connect in a meaningful way. This isn't just small talk, it's a window into something real. Number 5. What do you think about? Insert whatever personal topic here. When a guy brings up a personal or meaningful topic, such as asking, "What do you think about long-distance relationships?" or "How do you feel about the idea of settling down?" It's a clear sign that he's testing the waters. These aren't casual questions you throw out into random conversations. They're strategic and purposeful. He's assessing whether your values and perspectives align with his. For example, imagine he brings up long-distance relationships. Maybe he's considering one or has been in one before. If he's attracted to you, he'll suddenly frame the question as a way to figure out your stance without directly saying he's envisioning a potential future with you. And even if the topic isn't romantic, it could be about career goals, family values, or life priorities, things that matter deeply to him. This question reflects more than just compatibility. It's about seeing if the paths that you're both envisioning could merge. A guy won't risk diving into heavy topics unless he sees you as someone significant. He might preface it with, "I've been thinking about something lately," or "Can I get your take on this?" That's him inviting you into a more vulnerable part of his thoughts and hoping that you'll meet him there with the same depth. When a guy asks you this kind of question, observe how he reacts to your response. Does he sit up, focus, and engage? Does he ask follow-up questions to explore your feelings further? These are all signs of genuine interest and attraction. He isn't merely agreeing to impress you, he's absorbing what you say and how it aligns with his own views. Furthermore, when he shares his own thoughts on the topic, it's his way of opening up and building a connection. Vulnerability is challenging for many guys, so if he's diving deeper and discussing meaningful subjects, he's invested in knowing who you are beyond the surface. Take it as a major green flag. This guy isn't just physically attracted to you, he wants to understand your beliefs, values, and goals to see if there's real potential between you. Number 6. Can I ask you something personal? When a guy leads with, "Can I ask you something personal?" he's signaling his intention to go deeper while also respecting your boundaries. It's not a random question, it's carefully framed to gauge your comfort level and readiness for a more intimate conversation. And trust me, this is a big deal. Guys don't typically venture into personal territory unless they feel strongly attracted to someone. This question shows that he values not just your surface level qualities, but the depth of who you are. He's curious about the layers of your life that aren't immediately visible. Whether he follows up with a question about your childhood, your biggest challenges, or your family dynamics, it's his way of saying, "I want to know what shaped you into the amazing person you are today." For example, he might ask, "What's the most significant lesson that you've learned from your family?" Or, "How did you overcome a tough situation in your life?" These aren't light random questions. They're thoughtful and intentional. He's inviting you to share something real with him, and in doing so, he's also making himself vulnerable. Why? Because he knows these conversations often lead to a stronger emotional bond. Pay attention to how he reacts when you answer. Does he listen intently, nodding and making eye contact? Does he ask gentle follow-up questions like, "How did that experience shape you?" Or, "What did that teach you about yourself?" This level of engagement is a surefire sign that he's not just attracted to your appearance, but deeply interested in your story. Another key sign here is whether he reciprocates by sharing something personal about himself. When a guy opens up about his own struggles, dreams, or insecurities, it's his way of building trust and showing you that he's not afraid of deeper emotional intimacy. It's his way of saying, "I trust you enough to let my guard down." So, when a guy is asking if he can get personal, understand it for what it is, a move toward creating a meaningful connection. He's not just attracted to the surface, he wants to dive deeper and see if you're someone that he can truly connect with. Number 7. What makes you happiest? On the surface, this question seems straightforward, but it carries a lot more weight than you might think. When a guy asks you what makes you happiest, he's not just trying to learn about your likes or your dislikes. He's actively seeking ways to bring joy into your life. Think about it like this. When someone is genuinely attracted to you, your happiness becomes the priority for them. For example, you might say, "I feel happiness when I'm spending time outdoors, hiking, or just enjoying nature." Well, a guy who's truly interested in you will latch onto this information. He might follow up with something like, "Well, what's your favorite trail?" Or, "Do you hike alone or with friends?" These aren't just idle questions. They're his way of taking these mental notes for the future. He wants to know how he can be a part of those joyful moments or create new ones with you. This question is also a showcase of his emotional intelligence. A guy who asks you what makes you happiest isn't just looking for surface-level attraction. He's showing that he values emotional connection and understands the importance of aligning with someone's deeper desires. It's his way of saying, "I care about your well-being, and I want to be someone who contributes to your happiness." But there's more. The way he reacts to your answer is equally important. Does he smile and light up as you talk about your passions? Does he genuinely seem interested in learning more? Because a guy who's into you will take joy in seeing you excited. Your happiness becomes contagious to him, and he'll want to do whatever he can to see that smile again and again. This question also opens up the door for reciprocity. If he shares what makes him happiness in return, take note. He's inviting you into his world, showing you what brings him joy, and subtly hinting at the things that he might want to share with you in the future. Whether it's traveling, spending time with family, or pursuing a passion project, his openness is a clear sign of his attraction and desire to create a meaningful bond with you. In short, when a guy asks what makes you happy, he's doing more than just conversation. He's expressing his interest in understanding what fulfills you and figuring out how he can be a part of that picture. This is a guy who's not just physically attracted to you, he's drawn to your essence and wants to contribute to your joy. Number 8. What's your biggest fear or challenge in life? When a guy asks you about your fears or challenges, he's stepping into vulnerable territory. This isn't small talk or casual banter. It's a deep dive into what makes you who you are. By asking this question, he's showing that he's interested in your emotional world, not just fun or surface level stuff. This kind of question often comes after he's already built some trust with you. A guy won't ask about something this personal unless he feels a genuine connection and attraction. He wants to understand the complexities of your life because he's imagining himself being a supportive presence in it. For example, if you share that your biggest challenge is balancing work and personal life, pay attention to how he responds. Does he offer encouragement like, "That's tough, but I admire how you're handling it"? Or does he dig deeper, asking, "What do you do to find balance?" A guy who's truly invested will show empathy and curiosity, not just gloss over the topic. And let's not forget that this question often invites reciprocity. So if you share something vulnerable, he might open up about his own fears or struggles. And this creates a moment of emotional intimacy where both of you feel seen and understood. A guy who's attracted to you on a deeper level will use this opportunity to build a stronger connection. This question is also a way for him to gauge compatibility. If your fears or challenges align with his own or resonate with his experiences, it strengthens his belief that you're a match. So when a guy asks you about your biggest fear or challenge, know that he's not just being nosy. He's trying to understand the real you and see how he can fit into your world. There you have it, ladies. These 8 questions are subtle but powerful ways a guy reveals his attraction to you. When he asks these, he's not just passing time. He's investing into you, your feelings, and the possibility of a deeper connection. So, the next time that you hear one of these questions, pay attention. It might just be the sign that you need to know he's seriously into you. And remember, the best connections come from authenticity. So be yourself and let the right guy see the amazing person you are. And until next time, take care and stay confident. You deserve someone who values you for exactly who you are.